So today's guest, actually, we are really happy to have Sardor Uzakov, who is currently project leader at Boston Consulting Group. And before that, he worked at PwC for almost a decade, like 9 years and 5 months. And he also is ACCA holder, which is an interesting topic to discuss too for many of us here. So, hello, Sadorake. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, how are you doing? And you don't have to call me Sardor. Yeah, like we're not so formal at BCG and in consulting in general. Hi everyone.
Then how can I call you then?
Just Sardor works.
Okay, yeah, I will call you Sardor. Okay, that also works. So now, before we start, let me introduce the people who are listening and who will be listening. So people are mostly university graduates or about to graduate, or they are working already in the finance industry, and they do not have that much experience. Let's say 1 or 2 years. So they are juniors. So that would be better if we can shape the answer based on the audience, of course. And so my initial question is, can you walk us through your career journey briefly from working as a front desk assistant at Asakabank to becoming project leader at one of the largest management consulting companies in the world, Boston Consulting Group? And that would be interesting to know if you can tell us the skills needed for each position so that we can understand how skill set reshaping, developing throughout your career. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Look, I've been studying here, right, in Uzbekistan, and during my studies, I used to do lots of internships, and the one at Asakabank was, I think it was my first internship. Then I moved to Germany to acquire my master's in there, and again, yeah, I did some internships during my studies there. Uh, After my studies, I returned back home, joined PwC, and after a couple of years, I moved to the Middle East, first to Dubai, then I moved to Qatar, and later on I moved to Saudi, and then yeah, I returned back home to BCG. That's a bit of my journey, career journey. If you're talking about skills, look, when you start in consulting, it's more, you start with very technical skills, right? And then you do a lot of number crunching, you do a lot of analytics, and you follow the advice of your more senior colleagues. But then the more you progress towards your career, you start creating things on your own, suggesting some interesting ideas and solve very important problems of your clients. But what is more important, you create some visions for your clients. Yeah, like what do they want to be, where do they want to be in the long run, and then you cascade it down to some actionable initiatives, and then you help to execute these initiatives. Therefore, the more you progress, your relationship skills, your creative thinking becomes more and more important, and also managing the teams both within your company, be it PwC or BCG. You're managing the client, managing your partners and more junior colleagues is like it's quite important as you progress. But when you start, it's more of a technical skills, I would say, although your soft skills are still quite important.
Yeah, thank you. Then we can summarize this one as like as you progress through your career, as you reach to more senior level, importance of hard, technical skills reduces, and also importance of soft skills at the same time increases. That's true.
Look, I wouldn't say it decreases, right? Your technical skills. The technical skills are always relevant because as a consultant, you can't just ignore your technical skills, right? That's why clients hire you. At the end of the day, they hire you for your technical skills. But then on top of these technical skills, you need to acquire and improve your soft skills as you progress. That's how I would put it.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got it. And if we, look at your profile, you worked for almost 10 years, which is a decade of experience
Mhm.
at PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, before joining BCG. And there might be people or students who want to also join like MBB, but we don't have a main company in the region. I think we have only McKinsey and BCG. So there might be people who want to join BCG, and do you advise them? Should they start preparation directly to apply into BCG, even though it can be internship, or should they start their career at Big Four or other companies? What do you suggest?
Right. Look, if you're talking about Uzbekistan, I think BCG is the only one right here with a proper office. We've got around, I think, around 50 people in here. And if you're talking about your start, I would say that do what you want to do. Yeah, there's like if you want to do some Big Four type of work, then just go to Big Four. And if you want to join MBB, go directly to MBB, well, which is BCG, if you want to join in Uzbekistan, right? Uh, but what I would advise to the audience here and whoever will be listening is the preparation is the key. It is very important to prepare for the interviews because they're quite competitive. As you can imagine, right? There are many people who apply from around the world and who aspire to join these type of companies. Also, it's very important to have some sort of extracurriculars, do lots of volunteering, join the clubs, just show your leadership skills. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they would help a lot, right? It's not only about your grades and about your academic performance. Yeah, it's about who you are and what you can bring to the table and what differentiates you from others. But yeah, to answer your question, as if you want to join MBB, just join it. If you want to join Big Four, go for it. Yeah, there is no need for this for the transition. In my case, there was no MBB when I returned back to Uzbekistan. Yeah, naturally, the only option was Big Four back then.
Okay. And do you have any resources that you may or other people may find useful to prepare for the, Boston Consulting Group or other types of consulting companies? Like they
Uh,
might be preparing for the interview or other case studies.
Right. Look, there are many of them, right? I can share some links after the interview. There are many case clubs that you can join and practice with your peers. There are lots of articles on how to pass, how to prepare to case interviews and how they look like. I'm happy to share some links after the interview.
Yeah, that would be really useful so that we can uh, share with other people.
Yeah, yeah,
And
happy to do so.
you have, yeah. And what I can notice is that you have a unique background regarding your experience. For example, you worked as a PR assistant at Brandbox Branding creative company in Tashkent, which
Yeah, that's
is
right. Yeah.
not directly related to finance, I believe. Yeah. And what do you think? How does this non-finance experiences can shape your career? And do you suggest to students who cannot find finance-related internships or jobs to get non-finance jobs too? What do you think about that?
That's a tough one. Look, for me, I didn't know what I'm doing, right? When I was a student, I didn't know what I want and I didn't know what inspires me and who do I want to be. unfortunately, at my university, there were no these type of career clubs. There were not many resources that I could go through and understand how the work in consulting looks like, how the work in marketing looks like, HR and whatnot. So I was exploring around, I was checking different professions to understand what excites me a lot. And when I first joined PwC as an intern, I realized that this is something that I like the most. To answer your second question, definitely it helps, because in marketing you first learn how to manage the clients, you learn how to structure the ideas, how to present things to different types of audiences, be it some CEOs or some I don't know, students and whatnot, or the founders of startups. Yeah? So you learn how to talk to different people, how to narrate your messages to the right audience, how to be creative, because creativity is a big part in consulting, right? Because you need to bring some fresh ideas based on established common knowledge, and that usually helps to solve different problems. But if consulting inspires you a lot, then probably do some internships in this area. It doesn't have to be finance. Consulting is broader than finance. Yeah, it can be oil and gas, it can be cities, it can be anything really. So understanding what you want to do in life, and where do you want to work is quite important in early careers, I think.
That's really difficult and tough part, and to figure out what you really want and what you can really do. Some people say it's about your passion. You should find your passion, what you really enjoy. But other people say you should just learn something and grind, and so that you can become better at it as time passes by. What do you think about that? How to find something that you enjoy? It's really tough for many people, even like me.
Look, it is very tough. Yeah, I completely agree. It's not easy to understand what you want in life, especially when you just started, right? If you're in university. So if you're not sure, I would suggest to talk to people, understand what they do in different areas. Yeah, it can be logistics, it can be consulting, anything really. Uh, Try to do your internships in different areas. Try to do some research, googling ChatGPT and whatnot. And once you choose, I don't know, like 2 3 areas that you like, then maybe you can do your internships and then see from the inside if this is something that really excites you. Getting very good at something that you don't like, first is difficult, second is also boring, right? Imagine doing something that you don't like, but you can be very good at it. Yeah, but if you don't like it, doing it for 10 years, I don't think this is the right approach for life.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then we should try to do different stuff when we are really young, at our 20s maybe, so that we can find the things that we can enjoy, things that we can do without getting bored for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And it's also kind of interesting that you have worked in really different part of the world. For example, the one in Tokyo in Japan, and also during your career at PwC, you started in Tashkent, I believe, and then moved to Dubai, and and then you have become senior manager, but in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. So, how would those experiences, shaped your career path, and also what relocations taught you, maybe that some textbooks cannot teach?
Hmm. What I would say, I also love traveling. Yeah, I used to change countries every maybe 3 years since I graduated from my bachelor's, and it was always fun and interesting to travel, to meet different people, different cultures, understand and learn from them. It didn't really impact my career. As you can see, it's very linear and very straightforward, and I guess that's one of the benefits of working consultancy, right? Because there's a very clear understanding of who are you going to be and what do you need to do to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Uh, but then traveling and meeting new people was very, very interesting. And you can't imagine, right? What you can learn from, I don't know, from a person in Brazil or a person from Saudi, the amount of wisdom you get, the advices, their life experiences is just amazing. It's unbelievably interesting and very rewarding as well when you talk to all these people and learn from them. If you stay in one city, be it I don't know, Riyadh, Barcelona, or any other city, honestly, you limit yourself to the experiences of the people around you. But then the more you travel, you meet more people, and you embrace yourself to different experiences. And I believe that's where you learn the most.
Okay. And so those relocations then do not really help in career, but it can really broaden your horizon because you are exposed to people from all walks of life. And that's kind of interesting. And also, the thing that I can notice, which is also interesting too, is your volunteering experiences. It's quite extensive and huge. Like you're doing almost three different types of volunteering activities, and I can say in different industries like education, and some of them related to economic empowerment for the past 13 years. So can you tell us about your experience in volunteering and why have you decided to do those?
Yeah, sure. I was a member of the student organization. It's called ISEC. I'm not sure if it exists in Uzbekistan. I think not, unfortunately. Maybe you guys can open one, and I hope you will open one. To be honest, so it's the largest student organization, and it arranges for volunteering around the world. I was very lucky to volunteer in Brazil, Serbia, and then Ukraine. Uh, I think like what 10 years ago, maybe, and then I moved to Japan. But Japan was not really volunteering. I always like to give back, and I believe that when you share things, you share your knowledge, you share your skills, you also get a lot. Yeah, well, like for example, when I was teaching English in Brazil to kids in favelas, I learned how to be humble and how to be happy with what you have. Otherwise, you just chase things uh, all your life, right? And then you don't let you stop and enjoy what you've got and appreciate what you've got. And this is something that I've learned in Brazil, for example. In Serbia, do a lot of sports, and the way they are organized, the way they do their time management was quite incredible, and I've learned a lot from them as well. And then and so on. Yeah, like it's not only giving to people, but you also get a lot, and it gives you a good opportunity to travel as well, right? Because these host offices of ISEC, they uh, they provide you accommodation, the only thing, and food. So the only thing that you pay for is your ticket, really. And then again, you meet all these people from, like in my case, it was from Brazil, but you can go to pretty much any country in the world and do your volunteering there and make some very long-lasting relationships. I'm still in touch with my friends who I met in Brazil. I'm still in touch with friends who I met in Serbia.
Yeah, thanks. And can you share how you have found those experiences? I mean, volunteer activities. Because I have never heard of them, even though I do some research.
The volunteering, you mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there is this organization. It's called ISEC, and once you become a member of this organization, then you get there's this whole list of volunteering experiences that ISEC provides, and then you just choose from the list. You go through the interviews, and once you pass the interviews, they would invite you to do volunteering in their country or city. It's like it's literally it's called ISEC. That's a student organization that does it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can see that this is like two of them related to this organization, but in different part of the world. And now I think we can talk about things that have been requested many times from the members of this channel. And also, as a disclaimer, I want to mention that if you want to ask question, you can ask at the end of the interview. We can get only a couple of questions due to time limits. And so, can you tell us about your ACCA journey and why have you decided to pursue ACCA, not CFA, or it can be FRM, which is financial risk management? And also, how it really helped in your career, or is just a title that can help, or the knowledge also useful? Thank you.
Uh, ACCA was a tough one, to be honest. Yeah, it wasn't easy to pass all these. I think it's 14 exams, right, or something. Uh, it was when I first joined PwC. It was mandatory, so I had to pass 3 papers back then, or even more maybe. And then when I moved to the Middle East, it wasn't mandatory anymore, but I decided to continue since I passed with 5 or 6 exams by then. The way I managed it was honestly the ideal way of managing is consistency, spending like 1 or 2 hours per day for 6 months would help someone, and then closer to exam you spend some more time, like maybe 3 4 hours, would be the ideal approach. Unfortunately, I couldn't follow this approach. So what I used to do is the PwC would give your study leaves. I think it was like 1 week or 3 days per paper. I can't remember, but it was like something like a week for a paper maybe. And I would take some time off as well, some additional 1 week, and then I would just live on coffee and Red Bulls to prepare. But that's not an ideal approach, to be honest. Yeah, like if I would do it now, I would do it consistently, like spending like a couple of hours per day and preparing for the exams. Uh, and yeah, since it was mandatory, that's the one I chose to. But I think if into risk, then definitely FRM can be an option. It's quite quant degree, but it's quite good respected. That but I say is also good respected, to be honest. Uh, if you say about the title, to be honest, I never had a experience when this title helped me. I don't know if it's very helpful, but obviously, if you want to enter Big Four, then it will definitely help if when you're going through your exams, and it's a very good benefit to have when you're entering the interviews with Big Four for MBB. I'm not sure how is it relevant. It definitely helped me to get some basic technical knowledge, and it helped me at work. But the amount of effort I spent to it was it was just too much, to be honest. And going through these 14 exams was not easy, but I'm happy that I did it. Yeah, I'm happy that I completed even I didn't have to.
From your speech, I can say, I mean, do you still suggest pursuing ACCA if it's not mandatory? Because these days, it's not mandatory, I guess.
In MBB, you mean, right? Or in
Yeah,
which one?
and even some people joining Big Four without ACCA.
No, it's not mandatory. Well, if you're not going to do your audit, if it's consulting, it's definitely not mandatory. And if you want to pursue a career in consulting, probably say is not the best degree that you want to spend time on. Probably FRM would be a more suitable degree, to be honest, if you want to do your career in consulting.
So you suggest FRM or ACCA if we want to pursue consulting, right?
It also depends what type of consulting, right? So FRM is a risk degree or risk qualification. So if you want to do uh, consulting in risk management, then obviously FRM helps. If this is not your passion, then you can choose another qualification.
Yeah, thank you. And I think we can talk about your education in Europe.
Mhm.
And it's also kind of interesting to know that you have two master's degrees. I can I usually see people with only MBA without any Master of Science or other degrees. So why have you decided to have like two different master's degrees? That's kind of interesting to know because I thought only MBA would be really helpful and can boost.
Look, when I graduated from Tashkent State University here, I wanted to study abroad, and there were not many options, to be honest, because all the education was quite expensive, and I didn't know how to apply for grants back then, unfortunately. So my only option was Germany because Germany had a free education, right? So it was almost free. It was like something like 300 euros per semester or something. Uh, so I went to Germany. And then when I studied in Germany, in the University of Applied Sciences there was an option to do a dual degree with the business school in Spain. So my German university, since I had good grades there, so they would sponsor my education in Spain. And that's how I got into this MBA in Barcelona. And I spent, I think, around a year there, and I've got this dual degree, one master's and one MBA during the 2 year span. It was a 2.5 year span, I think. So it wasn't intentional to answer your question. I just had an opportunity to get an MBA for free, and I used this opportunity.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. So basically, if we have limited budget, I see many people have limited budget in Uzbekistan. If you talk about GDP per capita, and then Germany can be the best place because of affordability in education. As you said, it was 300 euros per semester. That's kind of much cheap, I believe. And so, and now you are working as a project leader at Boston Consulting Group, and your focus, I guess, is financial institutions. So, how and what kind of impact do you want to make in Uzbekistan financial sector as a one of the leading project leaders in Boston Consulting Group?
Hmm. Look, I returned back home, right? Because I wanted to be at home, and I always wanted to contribute to my own country. And given this massive growth that everyone is experiencing and everyone is seeing, both in Uzbekistan and abroad, I felt that it's a very good time to come back. If you're talking about financial institutions, you can see, right, there are many new banks are coming in. Some both international, local banks are growing. The payment ecosystem is just amazing. As if you compare to Europe, Europe is nowhere near to Uzbekistan when it comes to payments. Um, the other areas are picking up as well, and it's very exciting times to live in, especially like when you talk about like in Uzbekistan, I mean, and in financial industries as well. If you talk about the impact, you're talking about the more financial institutions grow, they hire more people. Yeah, so there's job creation, there is more contribution to GDP of the country or to the economy of the country with the rise of this sector. And at the end of the day, there is a massive increase in welfare of people because they get more jobs, GDP is growing, and this is the impact that I'm looking to create in the country, and I hope this is something that I would be able to do here.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. And yeah, I also hope that you can have such a huge and great impact on the finance sector of Uzbekistan. And especially, I think we need capital markets, which is not still developed yet, and hope it will be developed too. And so, my last question before we may let maybe others ask if they have any questions is, so if you were like uh 22 or 21 again in 2025, would you still choose consulting? And what would you have done differently with your current knowledge? And so, any final advice to those who are starting their career in finance? Thank you.
Uh, I would definitely choose consulting. I think it's a very interesting area, and this is a very interesting profession. But there are a few reasons why would I choose consulting. One is you get exposed to brightest minds, right? You both within the firm and with your clients. Yeah, you speak with incredibly smart and ambitious people from around the world, and you get access to so many bright people from there. There is a lot of freedom as well, freedom of travel, freedom of ideas. There is lots of coaching. You grow as a professional, and you do like very different things, especially as a kind of in your early journey. You're exposed to so many industries, you're exposed to so many different clients, and then the more you mature, you start specializing in some certain sectors and areas of your interest. So it gives you freedom of travel, if it gives you access to the brightest minds, and the the vibes are just great, to be honest. Like people are super friendly, very helpful. It's just very interesting to work in this area. So definitely I would choose consulting. One advice that I would give myself, I think this is where I graduated from bachelor's, right? So and I was choosing the university to go for. I would probably choose a better university, like one of the leading universities. Yeah, I would go to Harvard, I would go to Oxford. I was a little shy to apply there, and I was not very sure how to prepare myself to these type of universities. But now I would definitely do that, and I would start early on during my bachelor's to understand what are the requirements, what are they looking for, and would prepare my profile to study in like in Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, or like these universities, because since you're spending like 2 3 years of your life, it has to be the best university in the world. And then there are so many grants, right? And there is so much support around, like both financial and non-financial support. And just don't go for the cheapest option. Just go to the best option, I believe.
Yeah, thank you. That's also important to know, like applying to best universities. And because I heard there are some companies who hire from the certain universities, which is called, I guess, target university and non-target and semi-target. So I think studying at such universities would really help to boost your career. And in general, yeah, thank you for your answers. And let me ask the audience if they have any questions. Do you guys have any questions? Please raise your hand. I think we have two people for now. Logbe Eknejov, maybe.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sador, for your speech, your presentation, and what you've talked. My question is, what sparked you? What is the logic behind it? Let's say decision that you made moving to the big three from big four. Thank you.
I wanted to come back home. I wanted to contribute to my own home country, and I was looking for opportunities here, and naturally.
Well, uh, we didn't we have big three in Uzbekistan also? Big four in Uzbekistan also.
Yes, there is a big four, right? But frankly speaking, big three is quite an upgrade, right? So since I had an opportunity to join BCG, I took this opportunity there. And then as BCG,
Okay.
you work on some
Uh,
big transformational projects, and this is something that I would want to do when I was back home.
Interesting, interesting. So your big three outweighs the big four, in your opinion, right?
Well, it's not outweighed, right? It's
No, no,
they
no.
do different
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
right? So it's
Okay,
like
okay.
they do different type of consulting, and the type of consulting that I wanted to do is the one that big three
Okay.
offers.
Sure, sure. Thanks.
Okay, we have two more people, then we can end the session, I believe. Abdurrahman Nazarov, now you can speak. Thank you. But please try to ask only one question, and if possible, try not to ask the questions that we have covered already. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. But I really want to ask two questions, but I will just ask briefly. Like, one is how there are people who want to get professional certificates like CFA and other certificates, which cost thousands of dollars. For example, CFA $3,500 for for 3 levels, kind of that. And how an ordinary person can find that money to apply to register for the examination. The second question is how to balance the life work study, like basically university courses, optional courses, and other stuff, and have a rest also, because sometimes it will be very difficult to balance these two questions. Thank you.
Sure. Well, let me start with the second one. It is not easy to balance, obviously, and I know how hard it is to study and to juggle all these things. The the way I would approach it is to spend like 1-2 hours per day and just be consistent. Like I'm sure you can spend 1-2 hours per day, right, to study for whatever qualification you choose to study, and don't try to pass like 3-4 exams in one go. You can still pass one or two, and 1 hour per day will suffice to do that, and it won't impact your work-life balance, I believe. On the financing part, well, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think there are some programs in here. I'm not too sure, but I've seen few that would support and that would cover up for your qualifications. But again, yeah, I'm not sure. So maybe it would be good to Google it up and confirm. And doing some side job, yeah, like there are many opportunities to do the work while you're studying, and there are some paid jobs as well that could help you to finance your education, I believe.
Yep. Thank you, Sardar, for your answers. We really appreciate your time. It's really valuable, and it means a lot to us. Hope your advice and insights will be really useful. Actually, they're really useful to the people who are listening now and who will be listening to this conversation. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Well, happy to be here. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the group of people who joined us. I'm available on LinkedIn if you have any further questions. Happy to talk, and have a good day ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye.